Hello children. Now we are going to look at the transport across the plasma membrane, which is the continuation of the chapter plasma membrane. Okay, right? So we have seen introduction to plasma membrane earlier, then we have seen the functions of plasma membrane, and now we are going to see how the transport is occurring in the plasma membrane, across the plasma membrane. All right children. Okay. Now in that, the first point is the membrane acts as a physical barrier between organelles of a cell and the cytoplasm. Now you know that each and every cell will have a cytoplasm of its own. Okay. So this plasma membrane, it acts as a physical barrier, okay, between organelles of a cell and the cytoplasm. You know the organelles already, which is nothing but the mitochondria, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, and in plant cells say chloroplasts. Okay, so this membrane acts as a physical barrier between the cell and the cell organelles. Okay, so that is the first point. Now second point is the membrane is impermeable. Now when I say impermeable, that means what? It does not allow any substances to go through. Okay, the plasma membrane does not allow the substances to go through. Impermeable. Okay, that is how it is spelled. Now the membrane is impermeable if the substance do not pass through the membrane. That means the plasma membrane does not allow the substances to pass through them. Okay, right? So that is impermeable. So you should remember this word. I am spelling it out again. Impermeable. Okay, right? Now second, it comes permeable. Permeable means what? It allows. Okay, it allows the movement of the particles in and out of the cell. Okay, now here you have two concepts. You might have learnt it already: solute and a solvent. Okay, now what is a solute? Solute is a substance which is getting dissolved. Okay, which is getting dissolved. Solute is a substance which is getting dissolved, and solvent is a substance in which the solute is getting dissolved. Okay, right? Now say for example, I take sugar water. Okay, now sugar becomes the solute and solvent is water. Okay, right? So permeable means what? Plasma membrane is allowing the solute and the solvent to pass through the membrane. That is permeable. Okay, right. Now next one is semi-permeable. Semi-permeable. Now what does semi-permeable mean? Semi-permeable is if the membrane is permeable to the solvent but prevent passage of solutes. Okay, so it will allow the solvents to enter into the cell. Okay, and it will not allow the solutes to enter into the cell. So there are certain processes called as osmosis and diffusions. Okay, and these processes we are going to learn later part of this chapter. Okay, right? But for the time being, please remember that semi-permeable if the membrane is permeable to the solvent but prevents passage of solutes. Okay children? Then it is selectively permeable. So selectively permeable means what? Say for example, if you take the current situation, that is a COVID-19 situation, people have become selectively permeable. That means what? They will allow a person into the house if he is COVID negative only. Okay, otherwise they will send him to the quarantine facility. Okay, so that is basically selectively permeable. That means selectively allowing. Okay, so selectively permeable if it allows the passage of solvent and some selected solutes. So only some selected solutes will enter into the plasma membrane, but you have to remember one thing: it allows the passage of the solvent, just like the semi-permeable membrane. So we will look at osmosis, we will look at diffusion, we will look at a semi-permeable membrane, and we will also learn how to make a semi-permeable membrane in the next session. All right, children. But before we end up, I will just brief you the points which we learned just now. That is transport across the plasma membrane. That is, the first one is the membrane acts as a physical barrier between organelles of a cell and the cytoplasm. Then the plasma membrane is impermeable. That means it does not allow any materials to pass through. It is permeable. That means it allows solute and solvent to pass through it. It is semi-permeable. That means it allows the solvent to pass through, but solutes are not allowed. And selectively permeable means what? It allows the passage of the solvent, but it is selectively allowing the solute to pass through it. Okay, children. So in the next session, we will learn deeper about plasma membrane. Thank you.